Hello, fellow music producers. I wanted to put together this little video on the Icon Platform M with the D2, I guess meter bridge, if you want to call it that, which I'm showing you right here. And I want to apologize for the quality of this video, as I'm not a professional videographer, and I don't really want to be. I'm just doing this hopefully as a kind of a public service anyway. But anyway, what I'm detailing here is the Platform M, which is on this. I got the web page up right now, and that's what it looks like in better lighting. But mine is like down here, and you can barely see it. It's kind of dark in here, but anyway, I bought this because I wanted finally have the luxury of motorized faders, which are really nice on this unit. But as I got it, I went to upgrade the firmware, and I had some problems with that, which as kind of a back channel, I met their representative Brian on their website, who got me through the install, because it's a weird installation on how the thing you actually upgrade the firmware. It's kind of weird the way it's done, but anyway, Brian stepped me through it, and I finally got the firmware upgraded, and I had some issues with the way this thing operated in regard to Ableton Live I, which I'm using. The hardware itself is great. It's really heavy duty. It's like it's a metal on the top. The top is all metal. The D2, which is the unit up here that attaches to it, if you can see that. The original D model had a design flaw in that it was too short, and I'm going to try to show you here, but yeah, this lighting is terrible. But anyway, the faders did not line up with the display. The one I have here is the D2, and they fixed that, and it does line up with the display now. I didn't want to get the D, because the D model here, because I wanted the faders to line up with the actual display. So it wasn't easy finding the D2, but I finally found one and bought it at a separate place than I actually bought the Icon M, or the Platform M. The Platform M, in my opinion, has some issues when you're using it with Ableton Live 9. I don't think it's really well thought out, to be honest with you. So on a scale of 5 stars, I give this about a 3. I've decided to keep it. I was going to send it back, and I decided, well, maybe they will upgrade the Ableton Live part of this thing to where it actually makes some sense. And there's some things you can remap on here yourself, and I haven't done much of that. I really haven't had time. I'm kind of like producing music. I don't really want to remap this thing, but I have done a little bit of experimenting with it. So I'm hoping that if it catches on, maybe some people will actually improve the functionality it has with Ableton. So I decided to keep it, and just, if nothing else, for the faders, because they are really nice faders. It's all motorized. They're touch sensitive, as you can see. It's pretty well thought out here. This whole section over here is what I have the problem with. So what I'm going to do right after I get done talking here is I'm going to attach a video that I sent Brian at Icon, outlining some of the problems that I have with this thing. So what you're going to see after this is a video that I sent to him It's not a really high quality video, and I apologize for that again, but it outlines some of the issues you're going to have when you try to use this with Ableton. And you know, Ableton is a huge chunk of the market, and I would really like to see them give some more thought to this, because I just don't, you know, I don't think it's really well thought out the way this thing is mapped to Ableton. So without further ado, I'm gonna attach the video that I sent to Brian and let you watch that. And anyway, just take it for what you will. And it has the one good thing is it has a very small footprint, so if you don't have a lot of room like I do, then it still may be worth it, and maybe it'll still be developed, you know, to where you can actually use it, you know. But like I said, that's all in the video that I'm going to attach. So anyway, here's the video. I hope you enjoy it, and if you have any comments, you know, please put them. You know, make comments on this. Tell me what you think if you've already got one of these, or you know, just your opinions are, you know, very welcome. Anyway, so here you go. Here's the video. Okay, this is issue number one. Issue number one. I'm going to start with the buttons over here in some kind of orderly fashion, and I'm going to start with the mixer button. And again, this is for Ableton Live. I'm in session view right now. So when you press the mixer view, when you're in session, or I'm sorry, the mixer button in session view, this is what you get. Okay. So I'm not really seeing the point of that. When you switch over to session or arrangement view, okay, here's arrangement view. This is what the mixer button does. So again, I'm not really seeing the benefit of having the mixer button. Also, I'd like to know if there's any way that you can switch from session view to arrangement view by way of the platform M, instead of having to go up here the traditional way and switch like this. Or you can tab, you can hit the tab button too, but the point is I was trying to use the keyboard and mouse as little as possible, and I didn't see any way to switch between the views from the keyboard. Okay, so that's issue one. Okay, this is issue number two. How do I select multiple tracks? I can select individual tracks, I can solo tracks, but how do I select multiple tracks? How do I solo multiple tracks? I don't really see how to do that either. That's issue number two. Okay, this is issue number three. How do I play tracks? This is totally confusing. Using the jog wheel down here, well, first of all, if you're on a track, apparently you can't just hit play and get it to play a track, to activate a track. So I'm not sure what the problem is there. However, you can press the jog wheel and it'll start all the tracks. And you hit jog wheel again and it goes to the next track, and it deactivates all the clips. I guess that's okay. But when you're trying to play a single track, and okay, I just pressed the horizontal button here, and as you can see, you can scroll back and forth, and if you press the vertical button, that works fine. Okay. However, if you're on if you're on the line that a track is on, you can't hit the play button on the transport over here. It doesn't do anything. However, if you're on a line that has clips on it, you can press one of these two buttons and it'll start the track that you're on. You can hit either one of these two buttons and it will start the track. However, if you want to stop that track, you hit the stop button, it'll stop playback, but it doesn't deactivate the clip. The only way you can deactivate the clip is the normal way, through using the mouse, and then you I can't find any way around this. I don't really I'm not really sure. That just looks like a mess. I don't know how to describe it other than that. The jog wheel thing is great if that's all you want to use it for, but why you have to use one of these two buttons to play the clip instead of the play button, or something that would make logical sense, I don't know why that would be. Anyway, that's issue number 3. Okay, this is issue number 4. Along the same lines as issue number 3, I'm in arrangement view now. And if you, the jog wheel again, that's the topic of the jog wheel. If you press the vertical button, okay, you can scroll vertically. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. However, when you hit the horizontal button, all it does is scrub back and forth. You can see but to what purpose is that? Now, if you open like a particular channel that this is on, okay, and you scrub back and forth, you can see that you can scroll back and forth, but again, I don't know how to expand this view right here. When you click the little arrow down to get the sound file open, but you have to click with the mouse in order to do that. I don't know how to, and I don't really see how that's convenient. It seems like you could maybe press the jog wheel, maybe to open it, but it doesn't do anything. And to have to use the mouse in order to look at this and scroll back and forth is, I don't know, that's just totally inconvenient. It should open it up immediately, or maybe when you click the jog wheel, at least where you didn't have to click on the screen again. That's again, so that's kind of inconvenient. So that's issue number 4. Okay, issue number 5. I'm in the arrangement view, and I've got the little horizontal scroller, I guess that's what you zoom button. Okay, I press that, and I can scroll back and forth, or scrub, whatever you prefer to call it. That's fine, you can do that. And if you press the vertical one, you can actually scroll through the various tracks. So if I go back to the horizontal one, and I'm scrolling and say I want to start playback from right here, how do I set that marker? I can do it with the mouse just by going down here and clicking, but again, that's bringing the mouse into play, and that's not why I bought this. I wanted to do more of this from the actual unit. I can't find any way to set that playback marker right there on this unit. If you hit stop, you will go all the way back to 0. Then you have to scroll back through here all the way back up to where you are, and but there's still, I can't see any way to set. If you press the jog wheel, that does nothing, and it seems to me like that would be a perfect spot to where you could set the playback marker. But as it is, you have to click with the mouse on wherever you want to start, and it'll start from there. For example, if you click, like, just say you wanted to start here, okay, now you scroll, and you can see the little green marker there. That's where it's going to start playback, but I can't find any way to do that with the unit. I would really love to be able to do that. And while we're on the topic, I mentioned this in one of the other, I think in the previous one, when you a lot of times when you're in arrangement view, you can click on this and you can see the waveform in here, and then supposedly you're supposed to zoom. You can zoom through this and make it larger, or you can zoom in and out, and I've actually done that sporadically, but I can't find a see, I have this button pushed and it just scrolls back and forth, okay, and then I can press the vertical button right here and it just continues to go through the tracks. And now I don't know, do you have to actually select the track to, no, and see, I can't figure this out, because at one point I was actually using the zoom button to scroll in and out on this waveform, and it was making it longer and taller, whatever you needed to look at. I'm not exactly sure what I did to enable that. I really can't remember now, but it's not letting me look at that track. So I'm not sure what the deal is on that, but again, that's kind of confusing, and it's not intuitive at all on how you and while we're on that topic, if you do click on a waveform, if you can activate it, why can you not scroll back and forth down here on this waveform here to edit this? It seems to me like this would be a perfect spot to be able to set markers in here and like edit the actual waveform here. You can look at it up here, but I'm doing this with the mouse. I can't remember how to set this with the actual platform. If I can figure it out, I'll show you in a later video. But anyway, that's issue 5. Sorry for the delay. Now here's another thing, and this is just me, I guess. But on this D2 display, if you're looking at the tracks up here, and this display, and I'm hitting the channel button right now. Okay, and it scrolls through what I have up on the screen here. My issue is I would like to see where that C is, where I guess that means centered as far as the panning goes. I would like to have that C. It would make more sense to have that a momentary thing, to where you press the button and it momentarily tells you what the pan value is. What I would like to see where that C is, and I think would be much more useful, would have the actual track number. So when you get up here to like anything over 8, which is not on the screen, you've got your numbers right here, but anything over 8 in the display would be numbered. So if you have like 18 or 20 channels going, this is kind of like the on the APC 40. It's like sometimes it's very confusing when you've got more than one page of channels, which channel you're actually on at any given time. And that was always my issue with the APC 40. It would just be awesome, instead of the C, you would actually have the physical channel number displayed. As far as the banking works, that's fine. I mean, it banks fine, and that's nice how you can just but I just think it would be more useful to have the actual channel numbers on the display, anything over 8, and it would be great to have that where that C is. But that's just a personal thing. It's not really a fault per se, but I just think it would be great. Anyway, that's just one more thing. Okay, I think this is issue number. Well, I'm losing track here. It's either 6 or 7, but whatever. The trans button here, these trans buttons, is that meant to do anything other than go backwards and forwards? Because if that's the case, why do we have the jog wheel doing the same thing? What is the difference between the two? That's another thing I'd like to know. Because this is great. I mean, if you want to go back and forth like this, but the jog wheel does the same thing, and it seems like it would be better served if the jog wheel could possibly do, I don't know, something more important than that. But anyway, that's another thing. Alrighty, another odd thing. The zoom feature of this unit. I could not get this to work until I actually powered off the unit and turned it back on. If you press the horizontal zoomer, well, let's try the vertical one first. Okay, and as you can see, this works fine. And if I press the horizontal one, that works fine. You can look at it there. However, I would really love to be able to maybe tab that down and edit the actual sound file. That would be awesome. But up here, I could not get this to work, this zoom feature, to actually do this until I powered off the machine and turned it back on. And I did that twice. So I'm not sure if it's a connectivity issue or what, but unless I'm doing something wrong, and that could very well be, but I could not get that to work until I powered it off and turned it back on. So that's another feature. And one last thing, and this there may be more issues that I'm not aware of, but this is all I've had time for right now. These two buttons here, the read and write, I'm still not clear on how they apply to Ableton. If they do something, I understood from Brian that they do something regarding automation, but I really need more information on those to even figure out what they're supposed to do and how it all works. That would lead me to one last thing: is your documentation, the PDF that came with this system, is really insufficient as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't go into nearly enough detail, and it leaves you to figure out way too much stuff by yourself. And I'd rather buy something like this and start producing music with it. But it seems to be, I like the faders. The faders are great, and the actual controls, although I can't figure out how to select multiple channels, like, you know, just like solo multiple channels, you know, in Ableton itself, it's relatively easy to do that. You just hold the control button down and then, you know, select as many channels as you want. But this part here, the fader section is great, but it's this whole area over here that I thought would streamline my workflow is having an exact opposite effect. I don't know if it's because it's not mapped to Ableton well enough or thoughtfully enough. I'm not really sure, but it's like a one-size-fits-all thing. I don't think it's going to work. And at this point right now, I'm not real. I love the unit, but I'm not really sure I'm going to keep it at this point, just because of these some of these issues that don't seem very well thought out, in my opinion. But again, that's just my opinion. But anyway, that's all I have for now. If I find out anything else, I'll let you know.